So that's not my truck, although I always wanted one just like it. Well, almost just like it. I'd rather have the 3/4 ton that has either the diesel or the 454 in it. But yeah, way back when I was buying my 93 Suburban, that was back in 1999 or so, 2000, whenever I bought my 93 Suburban, I was looking for one of these. And in northern Colorado, for whatever reason, I could not find a single extra cab short bed. But I did find that 93 Suburban 3/4 ton with a 454, fell in love with it and bought that instead. No, this truck belongs to Orlando. He's a fellow resident of Salt Lake County here. And he reached out to me and asked if I could help him out and do the install for his mirrors. And he wants them basically to function a lot like mine do. But in case you're wondering if I'm willing to do this work for you, a couple caveats. Like I said, not a mechanic, I don't do guarantees. Though, like I told Orlando, if something happens to him, you know, if one of the strips fritzes out, once I've done this job, it'll be easy to take it apart on the truck and help him out with that. So, you know, I'll help him out if something happens to it. Wiring, I'm going to use fuses and relays like I always do. So, yeah, I mean, I'll treat it like it's my own truck and I'll take care of it. But honestly speaking, if you don't have one of these Chevy trucks, I'm probably not going to take it, because if it's an 80 to 90 or it's a 90 to 2000, yeah, I can work on those trucks. The 2000 to 2007, I can work on those trucks. S10s, I'm dang familiar with those too, though I don't know. I've seen one picture on Pinterest with someone putting a pair of these on their S10, and that looks goofy. I'd advise against it. They just look goofy. Unless your S10's up on 40s, it doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, that's probably my second caveat. If you're not a Chevy owner, I'm probably not willing to take it apart unless, you know, third caveat is if you're going to hang out with me and you're going to help me do it so that we both learn together how to tear your truck apart. So if you got a Ford or a Dodge or a Toyota or a Nissan, whatever full-size truck you've got, no, I wouldn't allow you to basically just drop it off like this. With Orlando, I'll let him do that because I know these trucks. And tearing apart these door panels, I can do that stuff in my sleep. So yeah, you move that forward, pops right off. You can have issues with breaking these tabs back there. I didn't on this one, luckily. I think I did on one or two of the tabs on my mirrors. His mirrors don't have the turn signal indicator there. But Orlando, sorry about that. I owe you a new mirror. But that's the cool thing about these mirrors is they're so modular, components and pieces. If they get destroyed or whacked, you just replace them. But you're supposed to be able to just pop this off. And you can see it moves, right? So it has adjustability. That's the freaking scary part about these things. But it comes off that ball joint that's in there. But now that I've wrecked this one all up, that's always my fear with these mirrors, pulling these off, is that I'll do exactly this. Well, like I said, Boost Auto Parts, you go and get a new one. And you don't have to buy the entire new mirror. That's the cool thing about these mirrors, is it's all very modular. Yeah, let me figure out how to get this off without making a bigger mess. Luckily I have a shop vac right here. Hopefully I don't do it to that mirror too. But usually the backings on these things are solid enough, strong enough that you can pull it off without a problem. That's the first time I've ever had a problem with those. Alright, I'm gonna get back to it. So like I was saying, that'll move. I'll give you room to put your fingers under there. I'm not trying this one-handed, I'll do this two-handed. But then you can pull that off, gentle, even pressure. Don't try to give any point loads. I'm gonna have to fight with this one to figure it out. I'm just hoping I don't do the same thing here, because you can, that's something I hadn't noticed, you can adjust where this convex mirror actually goes. I might try adjusting mine, give me a better view on my truck. Don't know, but one of the other differences too is his actually has real foam like this. Mine had something else that just wasn't as high quality as this. But yeah, so you push that all the way down, that's not going to damage the motor, and then you'll be able to pop it up. So these are not tearing apart like mine at all. I mean, the structures are similar. My caps came off way easier. These got more hefty tabs. Interesting to note that whoever assembled them at the factory broke that one putting it in. I don't think that really matters, because most of the hold is basically by those 4 tabs in there. That They're done by these little spring portions here. So, not a reason to return these by any means, but it's just funny. I didn't do that. Whoever assembled it at the factory did. So here is exactly what I was afraid of. Since I broke it, might as well break it all the way. See that? There's a Phillips head screw in there. You have to pull the glass off to do this, which means it is absolutely different from mine. Mine, the whole thing popped off just like the freaking big mirrors do. So I'm gonna spend a couple minutes at the trash can pulling the rest of this mirror glass off. That does make replacing it easier. And you notice how I got in there was basically moving it enough that I could get a screwdriver in there. I was just worried about scratching it. I don't think I did. I don't want to mess up his mirrors. But that's why I can't get it off. There's a freaking Phillips head in there. I might pull it off just to be able to freaking wreck these mirrors off from the backside a little easier and not risk damaging this. The other curious thing, don't know, but that's a significant heat sink on those LEDs. Way different than mine. So you're seeing what you've got here is this red wire that comes out here. That's going to be the backup wire, common ground for those two. Blue wire. No, backwards. Blue wire is the backup lights. Red wire is the turn signal lights. So that tells me what to do once I'm getting into here. Because as much trouble as this has been to tear apart, if his are sonically welded or freaking CA glued together, that's going to be a pain in the butt to freaking tear apart. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe I get lucky on this one. But yeah, so getting those mirrors out of there, you can see tab here, tab here. Is that another tab there? See, it's easier to get these caps off on this design with this apart. So for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll crank this, turn it any which way I can to get that screwdriver in there. Turn that one that way so I can get that screwdriver in there, and then I can pull this whole front piece off like this. Again, these mirrors are awesome because they're so freaking modular. And the parts and pieces, I mean, if you were to wreck one somehow, you don't have to buy a whole new mirror. You can go to Boost Auto and get the parts and pieces for them. But yeah, let me get back to this. I'm going to figure out, I was afraid of that. I was afraid of exactly that. The reason I'm going nowhere with this is because of that, because there's a freaking screw in there. Especially when, when I looked at this and I see the back side of this, they've got mirror mastic tape in there that's holding the mirrors on. That's funny, the back side of these things is every bit as shiny as the front. But yeah. Alright, now I know a little bit more of what I'm doing, that this doesn't pop out, and that's why I freaking broke it. However, if I can maintain that frame in good condition, I will be able to just replace that piece of glass and just glue it right back in there. Same thing with double-sided sticky tape. And all will be well. Alright, I'm going to get back at it. So here we are, more and more disassembled. And you notice those two little silver screws, I'll keep them there for safekeeping. But those two little screws go here and here. I haven't taken them off, so here and here. And that'll allow you, just trying to remember what other connection points there might be, because you should be able to slip the whole piece out. And that's where life's going to get fun. I'll move over to that bench where I'm going to get messy with solder and everything else. Try to keep a nice sheet of plywood down so I'm not scratching anything up here. Disconnect these wires. They have this little dealio that you press to get them to disconnect. So that's totally disconnected, and then I'll be able to mess with the circuit board inside there, resolder connections, do what I need to do if it's like my mirror. If it's not, I might cry. Alright, so yeah, I found it. There's one more screw right in there. I don't see any others. That has now separated the two pieces. I'll be able to pull it out. So yeah, in place, it's there, hiding back there. So I'm being real careful about how I'm just kind of prying a little gently, little bit, trying to figure out what's attached to where. Thought it'd be just those 4 screws that hold everything together. No, it's not. There's that extra one in there. So now, I'm not going to do that one-handed. I don't want to screw it up. But you can see I've got plenty of room now. I can pull that out. So that's what comes next. I mean, to do this job, you're fully disassembling your mirrors. Well, you could disassemble more here too, but it's pretty good disassemble to do this job. So book yourself an entire day for it. Alright, so you do have to pull these all the way out. So extend the mirrors all the way out to get that bar out of the way to get you enough room to be able to pull that out. And one of the things I'm liking about this, you notice, this seems to be a set that is not as well glued together. Because if you can go back and watch my videos, I fought these things forever. At least this one came apart. Hopefully this one does. And this one might be a little bit better glued. Look how much that's melted in there. That's going to fight me. That sucks. Dang it. That one came apart so easy. Unexpectedly easy. And I just got to get those two pieces apart. But yeah. Let's turn that camera around. Now let's watch from here. Yeah, this is pissing me off. This is fast leading me to the way where I'll never accept a job like this again. But that one, you look, that came off like I expected. Just enough glue to hold the thing in place. Pops off nice and neat. I'll be able to work with that just fine. This one, holy crap, did they just slather it in glue. Man. And that's the best, finest cutting tool I have. If you're going to ask about Dremels, don't, because Dremels and I don't get along. And after blowing up my third Dremel, I decided I'd never buy them again. So I've got to do a little surgery here and cut this apart because they've actually glued the two pieces together. Unlike this piece, well, I'll be able to pry that apart pretty easy because I need to get to this. I'll drill holes here and here and then feed the, these go in there. But this pisses me off. It just, golly, just overusage of glue. Way more than was necessary, just not working for me. So I'm going to cut this apart. I'll put it back together. For now, I'm going to put it together with this glass. I'll go look and see what I can do to order a new piece of glass, because a lot of times you order these, you're getting the entire freaking unit. I don't want the entire unit, I want just this piece of glass. I'm going to see what I can do. First place to stop is obviously Boost Auto Parts. They seem to have everything for these. Golly, why couldn't it have just been like this one where it snaps off, just a little bit of gentle prying and it releases the glue just fine. Doesn't fight you the whole way like this thing did. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. And me, I put them back together with silicone. So they're glued in there, but they're not permanently glued in. So if you ever have a problem with these LED strips, you can pull them back apart and replace those. Granted, these are the kind that are totally sealed, totally waterproof in and of themselves, so I doubt there'll be any problems with those LEDs. These ones that are on this board, they're not really watertight. I mean, even though they glued the piss out of this thing, there's still water intrusion points for this. And they did a little bit of glue on the back of there, but it's not fully. And if you've watched me wash my truck, these mirrors soak up a crap ton of water. And that's, that circuit board's bare in there. Just a bare circuit board. That's why mine failed. I'm pretty sure it's why everybody else's failed. I'll put it together the best I can, and I'll talk to Orlando about the solution for this. Which means I order one of these lenses and a piece of bottom mirror. Oh, this is not going well for me. It's basically leading me to the point where, no, I won't accept another job like this. To me, this was kind of an experiment to see, is this worth it? And now I look at how much Bad Z71 charges for a set of these mirrors, and he's charging what's right. So if you want a set of these mirrors built for you, you talk to him. Get in line for his waiting list, and be prepared to pay the $500 to $600 it's worth, because it's just the labor, time, and frustration with these things. That's why I'm a hobbyist, not an actual full-blown mechanic working in a shop somewhere. This kind of crap would piss me off all the time. Yes, I know, part of it's probably my tools. I'm using freaking a fine cut carpentry tool where I need something a little more precise for this. So it ends up being butchery because it didn't come apart like I expected. Butchery, just like that over there. Whatever, I'll get it back together, I'll get it looking right, and I'll get it functioning right. And that's probably the biggest thing for Orlando is just the electrical portion of it all, making it work. And I'll do that, no big deal. I'll get her done. Alright, got those drilled out so that I can pass those ends through there, because you have just enough room for these when you put them in. Another difference, they had a pass through. Mine had a clip of some sort, so I did something different. So I'm playing clipping off the pigtails, and I'll use the pigtails to tie into this and secure it all down there and go from there, and then that way that can just be plugged into the back, which means where this goes, I'm going to need another hole drilled right about there. Yeah, that looks rough. I filed it down, cleaned it up. This part's still in decent shape. It just doesn't have the same lips as that one because that's all cut off. Because all of that is basically still glued inside there. Just ridiculous. I mean, so it'll go back together. Once I got the LED stuff done and I've got pigtails running and all that, I can glue it back together just fine. I do not have the plastic welding stuff to glue that back together. I'll still put it on there just so it's there until I can order another lens and then fix it that way. But this time, I'm totally ditching these circuit boards because last time I at least used the connection point for them, which on these ones you can see the little bit of, that's where it came through. My circuit boards were different on mine. And that's less work for me, so that's just fine. If all I'm doing is hooking into a pigtail, I'm happier. Some of that had to do with the fact that mine has the in the glass indicator. This one does not. So mine has an arrow right here. These ones don't. Which, ooh, yeah, if Orlando wants to do that again on another day, that's a whole different deal. Hope he's good without them. But yeah, I'm gonna get these back together. Just got to drill one more hole there and in there too. But then, all right, there it is. And there's not enough left to really glue this thing down until I put this lens on. Broken as it is. Get a new one. That bothers me. It bothers me a lot. But there's a ton of pigtail left on these. And this, so I start with drilled out holes, then I carve them out with the X-Acto knife so they're square, and that tucks in and passes through. Because there's just a fraction of an inch less than what you need. Those lights will show through a little bit. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 lights versus, so that's 18 LEDs versus the 8 that were there before. So more than twice what you had before. But yeah, I'll carve those out, get these put back together, and then the job of reassembling the mirrors. And it's all downhill from there. Pulling off door panels and getting the mirrors installed. Alright, I'm going to get back at it. So here goes one of my bigger frustrations. Yeah, I've got the mirrors back together partially. The lens is in there, silicone's still drying up, it'll be fine. These screws, be careful with them because they don't have much thread left in that plastic, but my frustration is these wires. Really, really tiny gauge. So you can see I strip off about that much and then I fold it in half. If I can get it in the camera, there we go, fold it in half, and that way we can use these little red crimp and heat shrinkers. And that's enough for them to get a good bite on it. But yeah, so you gotta strip twice what you think you're going to, twist them up, fold them in half, and then they'll fit. That's just my little tip for this one. So I'm pretty sure the engineers that do this kind of stuff, they look at the power capacity and everything else of these wires and the draw and the amperage and all that good stuff, and figure ounces saves pounds, saves dollars, saves millions of dollars. So they go with tiny wire because LEDs don't draw a whole lot, and so the current flow only needs a wire that size. However, when you're modifying these, it makes it difficult on you. So yeah, they come with this big long lead all the way out there. I snip it short. In this case, I'm going to use what these mirrors came with and hook them back into the mirror's own harness. Why does that confuse me? Where did this one come from? I feel like that's, oh, I know what that is. Stupid me. That's for those lights. I was about to get upset. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do know what I'm doing. Those are for the backup lights. It looks as if this is the same as the factory, so that's fine there, but this, it's a three-way, which if you had a 2017, you'd probably have that. 2015, 2017, whenever they went to this style of mirrors. So I'm going to have to play around with that too, figure out what to do there. Alright, so you pull the mirrors all the way out. You pull this cap out of there. You pull this one. First you pull it up and then out. So you get those out, and that gets you a good look at the run of the factory wire. I'm going to zip tie all this together so it follows that wire on in. Goes down in there, comes back out here. All of this is mucho easier when you're on the bench, because when I did mine with this upgrade, I did it on the truck, and boy did that suck. Go back and review those videos if you want to see how much it sucks. Better to do this now when the mirror is new. If we go a different route to replace these, this wire will already be run, it'll be fine. So when we go to replace this one that's all cracked up, won't be a big deal, because we'll just get into this wire. We'll splice on this one. And these ones obviously using that factory connection. I don't know if I'm going to do the wire, because it all depends. If I can get just the lenses, then yeah. And it's just the lenses. If I have to do a whole new piece, oh, it's going to suck. But yeah, any which way. So that's how that comes apart. These do come off, and they just have tabs they clip onto. They go back on. You got to tear these things down if you want to customize them. And this is where the money is earned on actually doing these jobs for people. Is how deep you have to go into disassembly. Now it occurs to me, I saw a video a month or two back. Boost Auto Parts has a replacement for this with the dual function, besides their wiring kit that does the other stuff with diodes and resistors and stuff. So this way that I'm doing it, it might be just worth it to go get what Boost Auto has off the shelf and just replace this entire housing with their piece and then do their wiring in here. And I don't know, I'll talk to Orlando if instead of trying to find a new lens, if I can get it, it'll be the cheapest way to go about it. Maybe we go that way. I don't know. But I'd say if you're looking at this kind of a mod, this is difficult. The Boost Auto one's probably easier. It's just a little bit more wiring, and you got to understand your electricity. And that's not that hard for, well, it's not for me, but for most guys it's probably not. Let me get back at it, because I've got the panels apart and I'm ready to mount and wire. I'm going to use the tail they used, so all of their stuff, and then I'm going to use this to tap into the truck and run it out to the blinkers, to the turn signal wires. At this point, just the purple and the black are all I need. The blue, not so much, because that's the reverse backup light. And talking to Orlando, he wasn't interested in that right now, probably for the same reason I've never hooked mine up. It's a little more difficult to do. You have to tap into your reverse signal that comes out of your transmission down underneath the truck, and I haven't done mine yet because I don't really see a need for those lights. So yeah, once again, let me get back to it. Alright, so I got the mirrors mounted on. If you didn't see my other video on the subject, you haven't seen these before, they come with this bracket that ties it into the main structure of the door. So the top one's longer, the bottom two are shorter. They come with all new nuts and everything. I'm about starting to work on the wire. So I got two different things I need to wire in. I'm going to get work on that. But yeah, the mirrors themselves are all put back together. This one looks pretty sweet. Except for the missing glass here, just because that's stupidity. The other one's up, and yeah, you can see that freaking crack. They'll function, at least until I can get a replacement lens for it. But yeah, it'll have the function. They're up, they're solid. I think it'll look pretty dang good on this truck. Okay, under the hood, this whole trunk line that runs right here, this is your lighting system. It's got a ground going into chassis ground on it with that lighting system, so you can find all 3 wires you need right there. The brown for marking, light blue and dark blue for the turn signals. Do not confuse that tan with the brown, because the tan is the high beams. Yeah, I forget what red is. It's a couple other lines. I mean, the light green, dark green, the tan, the red, all those go to your lights. This one wrapped in yellow, I'm not sure what it goes to. But I do know the wires I'm looking for are these 3. So I'll tap into these ones, and that's how I'm going to make this whole system work. And when I'm said and done, there'll be blinkers, and there will be clearance lights as well. So this ended up in failure, and not because of anything I did. Well, sort of, kind of, but not really. This bracket inside here made of some sort of cast aluminum type stuff. When I had the mirrors all mounted up, because man, they look freaking cool on this truck with the chrome caps and everything, goes great with this truck. But I went to test everything out, make sure they fold in like they're supposed to, all that kind of stuff, and it snapped this piece, this aluminum bracket, obviously faulty from the factory. So I feel bad. I mean, I tore it apart to get it off the truck, but I feel bad for Orlando, because man, it was going to look cool. It's going to look way cool. And then, never mind all the time I spent today putting those LED strips in there. I mean, that would look cool too. But I think what we're going to do from here, this will be continued till next time. We'll go, not sure where he got these from, but this is kind of a word to the wise. Just because you find a good price on these things doesn't mean, obviously they're metallurgy, they're processed, factory defect for sure, not good quality. So I'm telling them, let's go look at Boost Auto and see what they've got. And we'll order something from them. And I've seen a couple months ago, Boost Auto does the switchback ones that are already in here. They've got the dual function stuff all ready to go. It's probably worth the money versus the time, especially with the troubles I had with this one snapping on me. I mean, it would still function and all, but Orlando's he's already talked to the seller, and they're going to take them back, so we'll box them back up, ship them back up. I don't know if they'll notice that we did all of that. Don't know if they care, but because all of that has nothing to do with this. These mirrors should have been fine. I should have been able to order a new freaking lens and a new mirror and been fine. That is not fine. That sucks. I was at the point where I had these mounted, was ready to wire. I would have been done in about an hour. So I just spent this, last several minutes taking these back off, which, having to go backwards, oh, that sucks. So we'll box all this crap back up, send them back. I mean, it's just, well, at least now, I got a photo of it with these on, and Orlando knows this look looks awesome on his truck. Well, like I said, to be continued. We'll figure it out. I just need to put his door panels and truck back together. I got the other, you can see that factory mirrors are back on there. So he can drive around. He'll come pick it up in a few here. I should have the truck buttoned back up together by then, but that's where I'm going to close this video out. Again, some days you're the statue and some days you're the pigeon. Feeling much like the statue today. But like I said, this is the last time we'll see Orlando's truck. We'll order the right mirrors. We'll get this in. There'll be a part 2 to this one. And the part 2 is probably simply going to be, hey, here's the new mirrors, they're in. Because this is the second time I've done a video on installing these types of mirrors. You've seen how I do this. I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. I really don't, because this one split apart so nicely because they used just the right amount of glue. It just came apart nice and neat. You could get in there. But this one, it was like it was freaking free glue day at the factory. They used all the glue. I mean, you could have done 4 of these with the amount of glue they used in there. It just screwed it all up. So I think the next step is to get Boost Auto stuff, and so that's probably what will be in the next video. I'll show you what Boost Auto's switchback stuff, their wiring, install it, and then show you what it looks like on this truck when we're done. Nice freaking truck. I mean, he's resprayed the paint job, so it looks beautiful. But if you watch this far, hope it did you some good. If you're looking at these kinds of tow mirrors for yourself, these mirrors are awesome. They really are. Just, I think my recommendation at this point for anybody looking at these mirrors is don't go with whoever, wherever. I guess I've been lucky on my Suburban that mine have held up. I'm thinking my recommendation is go with Boost Autos. At least that's who I'm going to try next. Go with Boost Auto. Yeah, I'm babbling. Appreciate you watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one.